Welcome, fleshies! Today we are exhuming Eyes on Me from the depths of the channel, examining its inner workings to bring you something different, and hopefully something that will catch your eyes and your ears before they rot away. So pull up your tombstone and let's dive into the dark anatomy of this tale. We are going to be breaking our investigation down into a few distinct chapters. The human element, David Brown and his unique gift. The traditional lore of the golem versus Charlie's creative, twisted changes. A complete crime scene investigation into the 4 times the entity struck. And finally, the missing pieces left in the aftermath. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The 6th Generation Cage. David Brown's unique shop has been in the family for 6 generations. Think about that longevity. This storefront survived the Civil War, the Great Depression, and even the modern rise of e-commerce. Every single generation has added its own unique fingerprint to the legacy. For David, it's building the store's first website. There is nothing more important to him than keeping his bloodline alive, working alongside his dad to run the family business. They see all kinds of inventory pass through those doors. Most of it is completely normal, but others, like our clay friend, are completely unique. David spends his day quietly scouring estate sales, rummage sales, and resale shops, looking for pieces that speak to him. He's incredibly proud of his 120 to 180 year history, hoping to one day pass it down to his own kids or a younger cousin. Have there been hard times? Absolutely. But somehow the store always finds a way to survive. A crumbling entity surviving against all odds just to keep business moving? Sounds a bit like me. My body may be dust, fleshies, but I still find ways to be useful. Let's face it, this channel has given me a real chance to shine. But back to David. The big bad in this story was brought in to keep the store safe and to make the owner rich. But let's face reality. The golem's version of safety is absolutely not worth it in the end. And by the same token, the way it's manufacturing wealth isn't helping David at all. It's going to get him sued straight into bankruptcy. Flipping the folklore switch. Before we look at the carnage, we need to look at what a golem actually is, because Charlie's creation has a few distinct creative touches that aren't part of traditional mythology. In classic Jewish folklore, a golem is a creature born from a lifeless substance, typically earth or clay, and it's brought to life using sacred rituals, heavy incantations, and a sequence of Hebrew letters written directly into its forehead. Oftentimes, they're constructed to rescue a severely imperiled community from persecution. To command it, you would place written instructions directly into its mouth, but traditional golems are incredibly dangerous. Lacking a human soul, the creature goes berserk, pulling innocent people into a violent rampage. In the old myths, you stop a golem by erasing the letters on its forehead or pulling the note from its mouth and reciting a deactivation incantation. But Charlie's golem flipped the switch. Charlie gave this entity 2 large orange calcite eyes that glowed intensely whenever the creature channeled its magic. Furthermore, the note containing its life force and parameters wasn't hidden in its mouth or written on its head. It was sealed deep within the hollow core of its body. There was no clean way to shut it down. The only way to stop this golem was to physically shatter the vessel to pieces. Most importantly, Charlie's golem doesn't go on a mindless rampaging tantrum. Instead, it is quietly malicious, utilizing hyper-targeted psionic abilities to strike out at anything it perceives as a threat to David or the shop. Let's step into the crime scene. Investigation ward, and look at the 4 distinct times our clay fiend acted out in defense of its new master. Chapter 3, the crime scene investigation. Look at the pattern here, guys. The passerby. Our first strike happens to an innocent pedestrian, simply walking past the storefront. The golem reaches out telepathically, attempting to overwhelm her mind and forced her into the shop to buy something. She somehow manages to resist the initial psychic gravity well and keeps walking, but not before the golem leaves a lingering, distorted mental suggestion in her mind to eat something she shouldn't have. She managed to escape the first wave of mind control, but she couldn't escape the psychological backfire of the second. For her sake, she at least made it to the ER alive. The golem has no emotion, fleshies. As far as its programming was concerned, a non-compliant target had been successfully neutralized and removed from the perimeter. And just so you know, she survived. Our second scene involves a man who came into the shop and decided to argue with David over the price of an antique. Hearing the conflict, the golem immediately deployed a mental assault. It hijacks the man's mind and forces him to walk outside and impulsively throw away his entire wallet and everything inside, including the priceless engagement ring meant for his girlfriend. This man broke both protocols hidden inside the statue. He violated David's peace by arguing, and he threatened the shop's wealth by haggling over the price. The employee. The third attack hits inside the workplace when a newly hired young employee looks at the display and calls the golem ugly. While David decides to be nice and lets the comment slide, the golem demands absolute insubordination control. During the lunch break, while the store is completely empty, the clay statue physically moves, retrieves the discarded engagement ring from strike 2, and stuffs it deep inside the teen's coat pocket. When David discovers the missing ring, he fires the kid on the spot for grand theft. But don't worry, he gets his job back in the end. The final escalation happens when an armed criminal attempts to hold up the store. In a bizarre fluke accident manufactured by the golem's environmental manipulation, the robber trips over his own feet. In the kinetic chaos of the fall, his pew-pew goes off and he is instantly unalived. The pattern, connect the dots, guys. A passing stranger gets hospitalized, a customer gets financially ruined, an innocent kid gets framed for a felony, and a robber gets terminated by his own item. The golem is completely cleaning house. It's delivering on that hidden note perfectly. David is safer than he's ever been, and his cash register is overflowing. But it's doing it by turning his grandfather's peaceful antique shop into a supernatural danger zone where one wrong step, one wrong comment, or one bad intention results in absolute ruin. Conclusion, the paper trail and the last loose thread. But Charlie wasn't done yet, because the aftermath carries its own psychological horror. After being plagued by nightmares, David is drawn back to the shop in the dead of the night, discovering the golem actively out of its display. When the police arrive to investigate the triggered silent alarm, David takes them into the security office. Together they watch the horrifying impossible footage of the clay golem walking around the shop to frame the young employee. Knowing exactly what the creature is capable of, David panics, and a police baton shatters the monster into dust. I promise you one thing, fleshies. When those two officers sat down to type out their official paperwork, their report definitely said something about a stray cat getting into the store or a freak electrical malfunction. They are not going to risk their badges writing the word golem on government documents. What brings us to our final loose thread today, the mysterious old man who brought the box into the shop to begin with. He claimed he wanted the creature out of his house, and after looking at this body count, I can certainly understand why he wanted it gone, but there is little doubt in my mind, whatever is left of it, that the old man knew exactly what he had and exactly what it would do the moment it changed hands. And I can honestly say, as someone who knows the writer of the story personally, that old man knew the rules of the game. He didn't just get rid of a curse. He successfully handed it off to the next generation. Let me know in the comments below if you found a piece of clay that guaranteed you infinite wealth at the cost of the safety of everyone around you. Would you keep it in your window? Like, subscribe, and keep your eyes peeled. Until next time, fleshies, try to stay in one piece. Happy nightmares, fleshies!